You are officially in the incinerator. Welcome to Midnight Madness, the live streams that we do here on the Alert Zone TV. Shout out to everybody because this is a worldwide movement. I would love for you guys and girls to become active citizens. Y'all already know how to do that. So let's get right into it. I hope everybody's having a good night tonight. It's midnight Central Standard Time. Let me just say this. Wherever you are in this United States of America, make sure you have what you need to be warm. Right now, we are under extreme cold here in the Midwest. I know it's heading out to the east. The Northeast, I think they said that they talked about the 20s and the teens. My understanding is I don't think we're going to be, after Wednesday, the rest of this week, I don't think we're going to get above zero. I know Friday is going to be bitterly cold. Y'all saw me drop the video earlier. When I said it was minus 15 degrees outside, it was actually minus 15 degrees outside. We got a little bit of snow last night. And I didn't feel like driving to the public hunt land, so I just shot that video outside of the door, and what have you. I was dressed, but I wasn't really dressed to go out into the field. So definitely make sure you guys and girls have what you need to be warm if you live in one of these places. Also, the state of Michigan, the home of Gun Freak Nation, by the way, I saw they had 100-car pileup. I don't know what interstate that was on. They said nobody died. You're going to be out here on these roads in this bad weather. Be careful, man. If you don't have to be out there, don't go out. That's all I can tell you. So I'm glad everybody made it out of that. Also, I got an announcement to make. Couple announcements. First off, I think by the end of this week, I'll also be on TikTok. So I'm going to take the Alert Zone TV to TikTok. It's my understanding you got a little bit more freedom of some of the things you can do there. Also on our Instagram page, Alert Zone TV, we are going to start dropping this series called New Orleans Chronicles. And I said that I was going to expand my Instagram a little bit more where I can do a little bit more outside of the whole gun tube thing. But it's going to basically be like I'm going to give you guys and girls some of the cultural norms, some of the things that originated in New Orleans, some of the experiences of my life, and how it has affected the world. Some things that originated in New Orleans you may or may not know. Shout out to Pause and Play. Forgive me, brother. I'm working on getting everything set up. I got to go pick my book up so I can go ahead. I want to try and keep a detailed log and go little bit by little bit. I'm also still learning how to work Instagram as far as how you do the postings. I know on the Reels is the one everybody watch because so many people got short attention spans. I would like to do it in like a 10, 15, maybe 30-minute intervals or 30-minute videos about a particular topic. It's going to take a while to get through this. I'm not looking for anybody to get into an argument with. I'm not looking for internet beefs and all that. It's strictly going to be about a lot about the culture of New Orleans because I noticed there's a lot of people that tell truths about New Orleans on social media. And some people do what they call it rage bait or clickbait, what have you, where they get people to click on and they say silly things just to rage people and to get into arguments for clicks and views. I'm not doing that. I'm going to give you guys and girls, it's not going to be like no historian type of deal where I'm going to have, like real sophisticated, but I'll tell you guys and girls some things, or may not know about the city of New Orleans and also the metro area. But I'm going to start with the city because a lot of people don't understand. The New Orleans metro area consists of just that, New Orleans. Kenner, Tarrytown, Harvey, all that is not New Orleans. All that is a totally different parish. It's in the metro area, but it's not New Orleans. There's a big argument about that on online and what have you, but nevertheless, so be looking for that. I just posted some pictures of me back in the days on Instagram, on our Instagram channel, so you can go definitely check that out. With that being said, let's go ahead on and get into tonight's discussion. It's gonna turn into more of an open floor, but I wanted to get two things out of the way. So I've been keeping my eye, and I have to be real careful about how I address this. This is why I want to go to other platforms also. These FRTs, you guys and girls, my understanding, we're not supposed to say the word completely out because YouTube will ding you for it. But these FRTs, well, I read an article earlier today that said the ATF wanted FRTs banned. They try to get them banned. They try to say that it was a violation of the Machine Gun Act. You guys know, I forget the name of it right off the top of the head. And they fought it all the way, and the Department of Justice stepped in and made it clear that it's not a machine gun, it's not this, it's not that, and that they're not gonna enforce that. They have been ordered. Nobody should be arrested because nobody's gonna be prosecuted for having FRTs. Now, if you don't know, FRTs has been a thing. It's kind of like the switches. You know, I guess it's a switch. My understanding from for assault rifles, quote unquote, or what have you. You guys and girls have heard me talk about those things, them FRTs. I don't know a lot about them. I knew it was some woman. I want to say she was like some kind of congressperson in California, some nonsense like that. That was making it clear that she tried shooting and she couldn't get it to fire just one shot at a time. All exaggerating and what have you. But nevertheless, I don't know what you guys and girls know about FRTs. I didn't know what they was until I went to a meetup, and I actually shot one. For me, it's a little bit more than I'm used to. It's a little bit stronger than I can handle. Maybe it'd be something I would have to work with. I'm not against them. As long as you can legally own them, I'm not against it. You guys and girls know I tell y'all that all the time. I'm not against us practicing our Second Amendment the right way. So you guys and girls are willing to do your own research after this, but it's my understanding that as at the filming of this video, that the Justice Department has told the ATF hands off and leave people alone about these FRTs, which they said makes them more available. So apparently there's places you can buy these particular devices. So do your research on them, and if all is well and all is good and all is legal, by all means, treat yourself. Like I said, I didn't know a lot about them. Moving right along. Citizens fighting back. I have a wonderful, unwonderful story, but it's wonderful. Of a guy that attempted a burglary in Arizona, right outside of the Phoenix area. Is it Tempe? I don't know if it was Tempe, but wherever. He decided that he was going to enter a home that was occupied by a woman and her 2 adult children. And somebody got that fire and put that fire on them. Somebody got the gat. And put several rounds into the perpetrator, and he was pronounced dead at the scene and what have you. I want to say this. I don't condone violence. I don't go around asking people to get armed so we can take people off the planet. That's not what we do. It's not what we preach here at GunTube, and especially at the Alert Zone TV. We don't beg you guys and girls to go out there and look for somebody to start something with so you can have an excuse to shoot them. We don't believe in that. There's no honor in that. But you know what we don't teach you? We do not teach you to dial 911 and hide down in the corner or in the bathroom or in the closet and hope that this person or these people don't find you. We don't teach you that. The castle doctrine is what was used, but I'll say this. You have the right to exist. You have the right to be in your own home in peace without fear of somebody coming in to victimize you. And you also have the right of protecting yourself and sending people to the cemetery. I don't know what's so hard about that. I know a lot of times people might say, well, the politicians work for the criminals and what have you. I told you guys and girls, look, the Second Amendment ain't nothing but a ping pong ball. That's all it is. It's an issue that Republicans and Democrats both agree or disagree about at the same time. They just ping pong it back and forth. That's all they do. I told you, abortion and the Second Amendment goes hand in hand. That's their two pet issues, and those are the two issues that they play ping pong with. At the end of the day, the Republicans don't love your Second Amendment rights no more than the Democrats do. So I wish a lot of you guys and girls would stop with that whole red thing, blue thing. I want to say this. As I told you guys and girls, as we get out of this extreme cold, I'm going to spend the rest of this week drafting up some papers and things, making some phone calls. I'm going to start with my local, then my state. And what's going on, Destro? Then I want to go nationwide with this whole thing of having somebody to go to some of these congressional meetings and things to talk about the Second Amendment, and to advocate for reciprocity. We spending too much time on the wrong things. We got to start with the small stuff first, then go with the big things. Yes, I don't want no restriction on what I can buy. Before we can get a restriction on what we can own and what we can carry, let's get rid of this damn restriction on where we can carry. Because it doesn't matter if all 50 states say, hey, you guys and girls can carry Glocks with extendos. We don't care. We still got a reciprocity problem. Let's start there first. We already established we have a Second Amendment. Let's start with reciprocity. In my honest opinion, that has to be the number one thing we start hammering home. Reciprocity got to be the number one thing. Once we get reciprocity federally on the board, then we can go after everything else. Because it's easier, in my honest opinion, to get reciprocity than it is to get everybody on one accord about what we can have. Let's get them on the same accord about the fact that we can carry in all 50 states. The way that these corporations and these states are fighting for non-domiciled drivers in the trucking industry, let's make them fight for us like that when it comes to reciprocity. Let's start there. Once we get reciprocity, then we can keep moving. But yeah, there's a lot of states, their castle doctrines are very vague, very different. It's my understanding some places you do have a duty to retreat even in your own home. Thank goodness here in Iowa we don't have that. I also want to suggest something to everybody else about legally armed citizens fighting back. Here in Iowa, as long as I've been living here since the end of 2010, this has been a conservative state. It's been a red state. The Republicans basically in state office has had a super majority for I don't know how long up here. The Democrats basically don't have a chance of getting much passed through. But they do have some issues that the Republicans and the Democrats are bipartisan on. But nevertheless, it's been a conservative state. And they foreseen the fact that that can change. So a couple years ago, we put the Second Amendment up for vote here in Iowa. And what we did was we got a lot of stuff in the Iowa State Constitution through that. The Iowa State Constitution protects our rights to have, basically, with the exception of automatic firearms, we can have anything else here. And we made sure to get that on the ballot and get the voters to put it through. We didn't get it amended or what have you, or by committee. Now the voters of the state of Iowa overwhelmingly passed that. Get that into all of y'all states. Let's get that into all 50 states. So then you can always use states' rights. And then let's go ahead on and get this federal thing. As I say, Donald Trump is in the White House. He needs some wins right now. He got a lot going on. If we can get national reciprocity, understand me, national reciprocity, and the government show that they're going to back us up, if any of these states try to pull this states' rights nonsense, that'll be a start. That'll be a major win. That is more important than, to me, that is more important than any other issue about the Second Amendment right now. And a lot of people don't see it because we being focused on what we can and can't carry. Reciprocity got to be it. That we got to get that through first. So, like I said, here in Iowa, yeah, we have a castle doctrine. We, you can have whatever. You don't have a duty to retreat. And you can eliminate the threat. And that's the way we need to be around this country, really around the world. But when it comes to the Second Amendment, I can only speak for America because I don't know what other countries' rights are. I know Canada has quite a few restrictions. I don't think, maybe one or two people from Canada have said they was watching from Canada. I've had a Brazilian tell me that he owns I think a G2C, and I think that in Brazil they can only have one gun or what have you. So, I can't really speak on other countries' Second Amendment right, even though this is a worldwide movement. And we encourage you to get legally armed wherever you are, or whatever you can be legally armed with. Nevertheless, yeah, we got to go ahead on encourage people to get legally armed, because I love to see when law-abiding citizens fight back. As I keep stating, I don't condone violence, and I'm not telling nobody to get armed so they can, in hopes that, yeah, I wish somebody would come through my door. Nah, we don't get legally armed in hopes of we taking somebody off the planet. We get legally armed with the hopes of we never have to use it to defend ourselves, but we will. Period, point blank. So, like I said, that's some of the things that's going on, some of the things I'm keeping up with. Now, we got other channels, T Electric and Gun Freak Nation, and Eyes and Ears Tactical. And even Dr. T, shout out to her also. They be hitting them home invasion videos real hard. And I let them have that lane. I'm okay. I let them have that lane because they do a really, 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 really great job of hammering that stuff home. Like I said, I just be putting in work with everybody and just getting in where I fit in. And, I'm just saying that for me, I just want everybody to get legally armed out here. Period, point blank. Because as I always say, it can happen at any time, any place, anywhere, for any reason, and you just never know. I think I'm one of the few people in GunTube years ago that was screaming that it doesn't matter where you live in this country. Now, I'm being strict about America right now. It don't matter where you live in this country. You're not immune from being harmed. We got prisons in all 50 states for a reason. There's criminals in all 50 states. I've stuck my neck out there and had it chopped a couple times for saying and asking a question, who you getting legally armed for? I've made it clear to people, if you're getting legally armed for a south side of Chicago gangbanger and you live in Idaho, you're an idiot. You getting armed for the wrong people. Crimes are committed by opportunities, proximity, and comfortableness. You very seldomly have people go from one state to another state to commit a random crime. Um, like Shadur Sanders' house being robbed. Those guys drove 700 miles from Georgia. Believe me, that was an inside job. They know to drive all the way to his house and knew where his house was. They arrested the 3 out of the 4 guys. They said they didn't find what they stole because we all know that that was already sold on the black market. But believe me, they didn't drive from Georgia to Ohio and just randomly found his house to go and burglarize. Nah, this was an inside job. Somebody that works there, somebody that has some kind of intel, somebody gave them something for them to drive all the way up there and pick that particular house. You know, it don't work like that. For those of you who don't know, criminals commit crimes where they're comfortable. Serial killers kill where they're comfortable killing people. They don't go outside of their realm and they stick to an MO because they stick to what got them away. Well, the same thing with traveling criminals. There's very seldom, and this from me being around them, this from me talking to people who said they used to be home burglars and how they used to target houses and what have you. So, you know, I just try and bring you guys and girls that knowledge from talking to people and being around people that was on the other side of the fence, you know. I say this, and I'm always going to say this. I don't ever run the street life or the underworld into the ground because the underworld does a lot to keep a lot of us safe, whether you believe it or not. I don't like the way some of the business has been conducted in the underworld because I don't believe innocent people should have to worry about being targeted, but that's a conversation for a different day. With that being said, I don't believe that we law-abiding citizens need to help these guys and make ourselves become sitting ducks. I saw a video. I had a thing come across my feed the other day. I want to say it was in Philadelphia, but I could be wrong. Of a guy that was going around targeting women living alone, and this animal, I can't even call him an animal. This below human thing, Ard, a 95-year-old woman. He took sex from a 95-year-old woman. There was 3 other women that said he had broken their houses, but they started kicking and screaming and he got out of there. When they arrested him, he made it clear he targeted those women because they lived alone. Alone. Ladies, when I tell you to get legally armed, burn them firearms, and that you may think that you're not in no danger because you ain't bothering nobody, criminals, male and female, when you live alone, see you as a sitting duck. They see you as easy prey. And all they're trying to do is figure out when is the best time to come and get you. Most of the time, they'll come in the middle of the night because the element of surprise is what they want to have. The assumption is that you don't have a firearm because so many of y'all refuse to get legally armed, and because women are not synonymous with firearms, these guys and these girls that be behind a lot of these crimes, they target y'all. And this is why they target you. So, if your door comes flying open, if your window is opened and you didn't open it, when people enter your home that's not invited, there should be some lethal consequences for that. And that's just what it is. You know, like I said, I know a lot of people look at, well, I don't bother nobody. I'm this, I'm that. I just like to tell you guys and girls, like I said, man, get out here and get legally armed because you never know who's watching you. Also, that goes for people that have special needs. There used to be a time, and this was a sad time where people that couldn't see, couldn't hear, had whatever mental issues. Excuse me. Would be targeted, and it's sad that people would do that. But people will target you, man. Criminals are opportunists. They're not brave. All they're looking for is an opportunity, and they will victimize you. You got to get out here and get legally armed. And like I said, just getting armed ain't enough. You got to train with those firearms. You got to have them in strategic places in your house, and you have to have a conversation with yourself. It has to be okay in your mind that your life is worth defending. And once you get it up here, that your life is worth defending, it's going to come down to here, then it's going to get to here. You'll be okay. A lot of y'all got cameras on y'all house, and we live in a day and age where criminals don't give a shit about cameras no more. They'll come to your house looking for your cameras. They'll come to your house and point a gun at your camera. And some of them will even tell you, we coming in there. Open the door, we coming in there. These Ring cameras and stuff at these doors, these guys and girls know that these cameras there, and it still don't stop them. Shout out to T Electric, he talked about, I saw the video, I didn't do anything about it, D on it. The Christmas video, where the guy had them two women come stay at his house. Basically, they thought they seen an older trick or whatever they refer to him as. He had some time with them little younger chicks. His Ring camera, thank goodness, caught everything. When they left, their little boyfriends was right there up the street waiting to victimize him. And he was going to be a victim of a home invasion. And thank goodness that didn't turn out and they got arrested. But I tell you guys and girls all the time, men might be the face of criminality, but you can't have a criminal organization without female involvement. You can't have criminals without female involvement. I've never heard a criminal say he was a virgin. I've never heard a guy with a rap sheet this long say it's because none of the women won't sleep with him. They all have access to women. If a dude will run around in the neighborhood and kill up everybody in the neighborhood, and he'll go and get in the bed with his woman that night, she knows what he does. What does that say about her? I think a lot of y'all never thought about that. Let's talk about these mafiosos for a minute. All these guys with the worst reputations all got wives and girlfriends. So what does that say about the women they with? That they would lay down with a man that they know is out here committing these kind of heinous acts. So when I tell you guys and girls, you got to get legally armed, and sometimes danger going to come from places that's right there in front of you. You be, as we used to say back in the days in New Orleans, when you get in a fight, you'll be looking for the right, and the left-handed person will catch you every time because you never see the left coming. You're looking for the right, and all the time they left-handed, and they come with that left and they catch you. Well, the same thing. Most people get legally armed because they figure the person that's going to victimize them is going to be a man. And then when you dig deep enough, you can watch the first 48 if you don't believe me. You dig deep enough, you find out a woman helped set the whole damn thing up. Or she was accessory after the fact. Or she helped him get away. Or she went and purchased a gun for him. Just things like that. And this is not a rant against women. I'm just saying. You never know where it's going to come from. And you have to be prepared for it. And if and when it comes to you, make sure you can put the threat down. And as they say, if you got to give your life up, don't give it all up by itself. Make it an even Steven. Make them fight to take your life. Don't just hand it to them. You know, like I said, having a firearm, it gives you a 50-50 chance. It don't guarantee that a person can't take you off the planet, but it gives you an opportunity. And at the end of the day, that's all you can do is ask for an opportunity. But what if you never have that opportunity? What if you get the perfect scenario? To the people that's not armed, listen to me. If you know somebody that's not legally armed, send this to them. Let me ask these people a question. If you get the perfect scenario, it's 9 o'clock at night, you're wide awoke, Your Wi-Fi works. You got real good cameras. You see two criminals walk up to your home. Get in position to start kicking in your door. Let's just say in 2 or 3 kicks they breach your door. You run to grab the phone and call the police. Let's just say the police don't make it there right away. What are you going to do? Are you going to hide? Because the assumption is these people don't know the layout of your house and that they're going to be in and out. You don't know how long they've been watching you. I told you guys and girls about, you got the criminals now starting to put cameras on trees, like trail cams, on trees and in bushes to watch particular people's houses so they know when to go in and when to go out because they know their schedule. So I'm saying to you, the person that's a law-abiding citizen that's not armed, you get the perfect scenario and they breach your front door. They breach your window. What are you going to do? What are you going to do if they bring a Wi-Fi jammer? You get to see them. You know they're there and they put a Wi-Fi jammer and you can't call before they come, they put a Wi-Fi jammer. Anything like that. What you going to do? If you do call 911, 911 ain't going to say, hey, all right, we're going to hang up. They got your location when you call. They're going to ask you 1,000 questions. Where are you? Are you in a safe place? Can you describe the people? You don't have time for all that. Your mind is roaming at 1,000 miles per hour. You don't have time to think about all that. The best thing would be go to your firearm, take your strategic position. If you want to call 911, call them. But make sure you got a really good handle on your firearm and you take care of business. There ain't nothing worse than seeing people lose their lives that's not a part of nothing. And then depend on where you live at in the country, people in the comment section is going to say, well, you must have been doing something for somebody to break into you. I mean, this is all kind of craziness. So I just wanted to talk to everybody about that. The FRT'S becoming a thing now. I'll keep you guys and girls posted more. I'll try and keep an eye on it. Also, I just wanted to tell you all about law-abiding citizens fighting back. And I'm getting more and more stories of the citizens getting tired of being victimized and they're actually doing something to these criminals. And as I say, the less cars that are stolen, the less houses that are home invaded or burglarized, the more everybody's car, health, and homeowners or home renters insurance will go down. When crime is up, so is the rate. When crime goes down and it stays down significantly, then you can always say, hey, why are you charging me the same rate? We got way less crime. So you may think this stuff don't affect you, but it does. Also, as I said, make sure you're following us on Instagram at Alert Zone TV. I'm going to start probably tomorrow posting videos of this little kind of docu-series I'm going to do called New Orleans Chronicles. And it'll be some things that's culturally right about New Orleans and some things you may or may not know. So you guys and girls can understand our perspective and what we contribute to the world. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody that was able to catch us live. If you're catching us on the replay, make sure you hit the likes button. Make sure you subbed. Please make sure you view the material. Shout out to everybody that views and gives a like. We appreciate that. I know, as they say, some people watch and they just don't comment, and that's fine too. Everybody don't have to comment. I'm just saying, if you want to have a comment, you want to have a discussion, that's fine. Like I said, we're going to be doing our thing on Instagram. Hopefully by the end of the week, I'll have a TikTok. I just want to get where, as certain things that I'm working on behind the scenes get together on this channel, I don't have the restrictions. I don't like a lot of these restrictions that we have here on YouTube. So with that being said, drinking my Dollar General water tonight. Shout out to them. Shout out to everybody because it's a worldwide movement. Shout out to everybody in GunTube. If you're new here, I appreciate you taking the time to stop and listen to me. I hope you would sub. But not only sub, I hope you guys and girls would put this channel on binge. Put this on your playlist. Get this channel on other people's playlists because I know we put good, nutritious, and fruitful content out about the Second Amendment. And as I always say, it might not be the channels you get excited to see. But when you stop listening to me with this and listening to me with this and put your logic in, it's just like seeing cauliflower and Brussels sprouts. You might not get excited to see it, but once you eat it and you digest it, it's good for the body. You go back for more. Well, you might not always be happy to see me because I'm not always firing a gun. I'm not always doing some of that upper scale, upper echelon things. But once you tune in to what we drop on this channel and you digest it, it's good for the body, it's good for the mind, and it helps you move accordingly. So, till next time, everybody, stay safe, stay armed, stay on high alert.